Let's talk about Lobo for my DC cinematic universe. Now, I've talked a lot about the idea of a Lobo and Red Lantern Guy Gardner buddy cop show, where they just sort of travel around space and whoop ass together, and I want to keep that. But I also want to give Lobo a bit of a tragic backstory, because fuck you guys, I'm here to make you cry. But I also don't want to compromise Lobo's character, which is a gigantic asshole. This man is horrible. So now in the comics, his origin is that he killed all of his own people. He's a member of an alien race known as Zarnians. And in the comics, they were a peace-loving religious people with no goals to hurt anyone ever. And Lobo was the first one born that was filled with hate. And so he, over the course of his life, killed his entire planet. And look, as hysterical as that is, personally, I'm not rooting for an anti-hero whose origin story was complete genocide. So here's my twist. That origin is what he says happened. But it's not what actually happened. Lobo was not the first Zarnian born with hate in his heart. All Zarnians were. They were a horrible, evil people. By just pure fate, they had not yet developed warp technology, and they were constrained to their own planet. Because if Zarnians got out into space, they would be near unstoppable. And then boom, one of their scientists figures it out. They made a functioning warp engine. And Lobo, instead of being the only Zarnian with hate in his heart, Lobo was the only Zarnian with compassion in his heart. Lobo knew what his people would do to space if they got out there. And since only a Zarnian can kill another Zarnian, Lobo declared a one-man war against all of his own people, and he won. So yes, Lobo still killed all of the Zarnians. He still gets to keep that accomplishment. And just to help cope with the horrible thing he had to do, he says that he did it because he was the biggest, toughest badass. Which, I mean, still true. He was still the one who killed all of them. But he actually did it out of nice reasons. Something he would never want anyone to actually know, because it ruins his whole image. But if you think about it, Lobo doesn't do super evil stuff. He's just a douchebag. He's a bounty hunter, and he kills horrible people most of the time. This guy's an anti-hero, but 90% of the time, he ultimately allies with the side of good. He's not really a villain, he's just a jerk. And so I'm giving this jerk a heart of gold. This dude killed his entire species because he knew that if they left their planet, they would commit horrible atrocities across the galaxy. When all this dude wants to do is ride around on his dope-ass warp engine space motorcycle and bang any chick that he can. And honestly, probably guys, let's be real, Lobo's probably bi. Lobo lives for the 3 Fs. Feastin', fightin', and fucking. That is Lobo.